I can fix it. A homeless boy heard a millionaire's cry for help. Then he taught him what he couldn't. The morning air in the city was sharp and cold. Jamal pulled his backpack tighter against his shoulders, though it was empty except for a broken notebook and a half-chewed pencil stub. His clothes were ragged, his gray shirt streaked with dirt. At only 11 years old, he looked smaller than his age, but his dark eyes were alive with thought. Numbers whispered in his mind whenever he stared at patterns, the cracks on the sidewalk, the wires above the street, even the spinning wheels of buses. He stopped in front of the towering glass building, pressing his face against the door. Inside, men in suits rushed from room to room. He hesitated, then slipped in when a secretary pushed past. The warmth hit him like a blanket. He wanted to sit somewhere just for a moment, maybe draw numbers in his notebook. But voices pulled him down the corridor. Angry voices. "This is impossible," one man shouted. "We've tried everything," another replied. "The numbers don't add up. The wing load will fail in testing." Through the glass wall of a conference room, Jamal saw them. Rows of men and women in dark suits, investors tapping their watches, engineers scribbling furiously on whiteboards covered with formulas. At the center was a man in a Navy suit, tall, hair slicked back, with his head in his hands. His voice cracked as he spoke. "If we can't fix this today, we lose everything. The new jet collapses before it even flies. Do you understand?" An investor slammed the table. "We've poured millions into this grant. If you can't solve it, I'll walk out right now." Mr. Grant looked up, his eyes red. "Please, give me more time. We're so close." "Close?" another man snapped. "Your engineers can't even balance a fuel calculation." Jamal pressed closer to the glass. His eyes traced the equations scrawled on the board. Thrust, drag coefficients, weight distribution. They were wrong. He could see it plain as day. His hand twitched, aching for the marker. Inside, Grant shouted, "Try again. Somebody please try again." An engineer shook his head. "We've done it 20 different ways. The math fails. The plane will never hold." Silence fell. Investors stood, gathering papers. The deal was collapsing in front of them. Grant stumbled back, clutching his hair. "No, no, this can't happen. Everything I've built—" Jamal stepped into the room without realizing it. His voice was small but steady. "I can fix it." Every head turned. The investors blinked at the sight of a filthy boy standing barefoot on the polished floor. One man scoffed. "Who let him in here?" "Security," another barked. Grant raised a hand, desperate. "Wait." His voice shook. "What did you say?" Jamal's chest rose and fell quickly, but he didn't back down. "I said I can fix it." He pointed at the whiteboard. "The numbers are wrong. You forgot the pressure factor on the wings." A woman laughed sharply. "Ridiculous. He's a child." But Grant's eyes locked on Jamal. Desperation cracked his pride. "Show me." The room buzzed with disbelief. An investor threw up his hands. "This is madness. You're trusting a street kid?" Grant snapped, his voice hoarse. "Do you have a better answer? Do you?" Silence. No one spoke. Jamal walked to the board. He picked up the marker with trembling fingers, his backpack sliding off his shoulder. The room leaned forward, half mocking, half curious. Grant stood frozen, his hands pressed to his temples. Jamal drew a quick line, then another, numbers spilling out of him. "Here, you use the wrong constant, and here, the balance is off. Look at the thrust ratio." His small voice grew firmer with each word. "It's not failing. You just didn't finish it." The engineer stared. speechless. Investors shifted uncomfortably. Grant's mouth fell open. The boy's dirty hand moved faster now, scrawling across the board, equations, diagrams, even a rough sketch of the wing with arrows pointing to airflow. The room was utterly silent except for the squeak of the marker. Grant whispered, barely breathing, "My God!" Jamal stopped, his chest heaving. He dropped the marker and stepped back. Half the board was filled with corrections and a final line boxed in at the bottom. He turned toward them all, his face calm. "That's how you fix it." The silence shattered into gasps. One man clutched his head. A woman muttered, "No, it can't be." The engineers crowded forward, their eyes darting across the math. Grant staggered back, hands over his mouth. His voice broke as he whispered, "He did it." And the room, a room full of men who had mocked a child in rags, watched in stunned disbelief as a homeless boy solved what millionaires and experts could not. Grant's lips trembled. He fixed it. A boy just fixed it. An investor barked, half in awe and half in anger. "Number, this is insane. He's a child. This can't be real." But one of the engineers pressed forward, eyes scanning Jamal's work. His voice cracked. "He's right. Every correction, every line, it balances perfectly. The design holds." Another engineer slapped the table. "The jet can fly. The project is saved." Gasps, applause, and shouts broke out. Some of the investors clapped their hands in disbelief. Others pressed their palms to their heads. Cameras flashed as someone pulled out a phone to record the board. Grant stepped forward slowly, his hands trembling. He crouched so he was eye level with Jamal. His voice was hoarse. How could you possibly do this?" Jamal lowered his eyes. "I just see the numbers. They fit together like puzzles." The applause in the room grew louder, but Jamal flinched at the noise. He didn't smile. Instead, he dropped his gaze to the floor. Grant's brow furrowed. "What's wrong, son? You saved us. This is a miracle." The boy's shoulders stiffened. He whispered, "I'm not a miracle. I'm not your project. I'm just a boy." The room quieted. People glanced at one another, confused. Jamal tightened his grip on his backpack strap. His voice grew stronger now, edged with pain. "I was adopted a year ago. They found out I was good with numbers. Too good. They didn't treat me like their son. They treated me like a machine that could make them rich. They showed me off, made me solve things for their friends, their companies. They didn't see me. They only saw money." Gasps rippled through the room. Grant's mouth opened, but Jamal kept going, his voice breaking. "I ran away. I'd rather be on the streets than live like that. Better to be nobody than someone's prize." Silence hung heavy. Even the investors who moments ago had cheered now shifted uncomfortably, their applause dying on their lips. Grant's eyes watered as he slowly shook his head. "My God! You're not just a genius. You're a child who's been used." Jamal hugged his arms around himself, whispering, "I don't want to be used any more." The engineers stood back, murmuring softly. One of them said, "He's more than genius. This boy is beyond anything we've ever seen." But Jamal's words cut through again. "I'm not just genius. I'm human. I need someone to see me as that first." For the first time, the wealthy men in the room had nothing to say. They looked at the boy not as a tool, but as a person, fragile, small, and brilliant beyond measure. Grant swallowed hard, his voice trembling. "Jamal, I can't undo what's been done to you, but I promise you this. No one here will use you, not me, not my company. You don't owe anyone your gift. You deserve a home and a family who loves you, not for your mind, but for you. Tears glistened in the boy's eyes, but he blinked them away. For a moment he looked almost ready to run, just as he had before. But Grant reached out carefully, not grabbing, only offering his hand. "Stay, just tonight. Eat, rest, be safe. That's all I ask. No equations, no problems. Just let us treat you like the boy you are." The investors, humbled, nodded slowly. The room that had once roared with greed now fell into a solemn respect. Jamal hesitated, his small fingers trembling. Then he placed his hand into Grant's. The man squeezed it gently, his voice breaking. "You are more valuable than every plane, every dollar in this building, and I'll make sure the world sees you that way." The applause that followed wasn't for a formula or a saved project. It was for the boy who had walked in from the streets, carrying nothing but a broken backpack and a gift no one could measure, and for the first time was finally seen not as money, but as a son, a person, and a miracle in his own right. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more emotional, dramatic, and unexpected tales. And let us know in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? We love hearing from all of you. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep watching.